What's up guys, this is Saiyan here. Today we are looking at the New Hope starter deck from Star Wars TCG. This is the Dark Side starter deck to be specific. You get this pretty little box, you get a 40 card starter deck, and you get one foil and a pretty chunky rulebook there with place for your notes. Um, so I've already had a couple of games with this deck just to try it out, and we are going to have a closer look at it, starting with the characters. So we got two TIE Fighter pilots, not much to write home about. They can jump into a Starfighter, give it +1 dice roll, +1 power. Then we got a Star Destroyer Commander, a little bit better. One of our capital starships will get critical hit 2, which means it deals extra 2 damage on a natural 6. And it's also a 33-3, which is, I guess, not too bad. Then we move on to Stormtrooper DV692. This unit on the face is pretty good. 40 speed, 4 power, 2 health. It does get -2 power, however, as long as it's attacking a unique character. But it does have stun 3, which is really cool. And of course, this is the Stormtrooper that stuns Leia in the New Hope, so very thematic as well. Then we get 2 copies of Stormtrooper DV523. Again, pretty good stats on the face, 40 speed, 5 power, 4 health. The only drawback is that you don't want to necessarily send this guy up against the unique characters, because then he gets -2 dice roll. The rare, interestingly, is a Dianoga. It's a creature from the Trash Compactor, if anybody needs a reminder of this guy. And you can tap this guy. Been generally okay stats. It is a unique creature though. You can tap it, choose an untapped character with power 4 less, tap that character, play only during battle. So you can just tap somebody if you don't want to go and battle with this guy. But I mean, with the stats, it's not too bad. Mind you, because I do believe this tap ability can be used as soon as you enter battle. You can actually just go ahead and say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to wait for my turn, just tap this guy, do your thing. And then on to the Vaders, because we do get 2 copies of Vader C, which is 40 speed, 5-5, pay 2, evade 2, pay 1, intercept. It's basically the spit image of the Obi-Wan that you get in the light side deck. And the foil, yep, of course, Wizards of the Coast, it's warped. What did you expect? Is a Darth Vader B that has pay 2, power +2, or pay 3, evade 3, which is, it's a good card, I think. So that's it for the characters, and again, as I said, this is the +1 card that you got, 40 +1. This is the little foil Vader. Moving on to ground units, we get an all-star of the game, the Death Star Cannon Tower. You just want to use this for the Ion Cannon effect. Ion Cannon 3, you can shoot up to space, 3 dice rolls. Pretty neat, actually. We then get 2 copies of the Death Star Guard Squad. Just cannon fodder really, but not too bad for a 3 cost. And then we get 3 copies of the Stormtrooper Squad. Now, again, this is very much cannon fodder. That's 20 speed units. If it's going to survive to the point when it's its round, I mean, good luck with that. But if you can make these guys last, then at least you get 4 dice rolls of them. Now, in a Stormtrooper deck, these are probably okay, but I could think of better ground Stormtrooper units to run. Nevertheless, this is a starter deck. But for a nice one, though, we have an Imperial control station. Very slow speed, obviously. It's a control station. What did you expect? But as long as this unit is in the ground arena, each of your Imperial starfighters gets +1 power. And that, my friends, is a good effect to have. And then we have one copy of Mounted Stormtrooper, again a very slow one. Power 4, health 5 though, so that's pretty good. But where you kind of want to use this unit is discard this unit from the ground arena, show one of your partially built Stormtrooper characters, cast your opponent, put 2 build counters on it, and you can only use this during the build step. So this kind of functions like Luke's land speeder in the light side deck, as you can check that out in that video, of course. And then finally, we have got, which I think probably the best just straight up attack ground units, the Stormtrooper Patrol, 40 speed, so it actually probably is going to be able to attack before it's taken out. 4 power, 5 health, and stun too, and I think stun is really good, but you need the stun on very fast units, otherwise your stun's worth nothing. So yeah, these are pretty good there for the ground. And then let's move on to space. We straight up get 3 copies of the DS-312 TIE Fighter. Very fast units with 60 speed, 2 dice rolls and 1 health. So you just kind of want to get in an attack with these guys and then probably call it a day. What's cool about these tiny units is that your opponent often will focus on the slower units that haven't attacked yet. So there is actually a potential to keep these guys around for more than one turn. And of course you got the TIE Fighter pilots that can go into this as well. And you've got the ground control, which can also give them +1 power. So you can pump these guys up fairly neat. More TIE Fighters, of course. We've got 2 DS-55-6, which is still relatively quick with a 50 speed. We get an extra health, but you also have to pay 1 extra build point to get this Starfighter into play. This Starfighter also has critical hit 2, which is pretty phenomenal if you hit that 6. If you don't, then it's not. We get a cool Vader TIE Fighter. This is B. The A, I believe, is rare. But it's a very cool ship. Again, pretty fast. For what it does, I think, as with usual, the unique units are generally really good for what you pay for them. 50 speed, 3 dice, 2 health, accuracy 1. So you actually add +1 to each of Vader's TIE Fighter's attack dice. What does that mean? You basically hit on a 3 and above. And you can pay 1 force and give it +1 power for this attack. So pretty neat. I like it. We get 1 copy of the Barrack Cruiser. This is still relatively good speed, 5 dice, 5 health. It's just a nice little vanilla, but you know, it does what's on a tin. And then on to the Star Destroyers. We get 2 Imperial Star Destroyer, very slow, but you get 7 dice and you get 7 health, and it also has Bombard 3, so if you're happy not to have to battle in space, you can just bombard down to the ground. It's 3 dice you get still, which is pretty neat. And last but not least, we have a copy of Devastator. Again, unique unit, Devastator A to be specific. Very slow again, the slowest starship or space unit in this particular deck, but you do get 8 dice rolls and 8 health. It also has shields 1, so whenever your opponent rolls against Devastator, they have to ditch 1 dice, and as long as it's stacking a rebel space unit, Devastator gets +2 power. So pretty nasty against you know, playing the 2 decks against each other. There might be some cards that are perhaps a little bit too good against the light side starter, but hey, you know, it's just a starter. So that's Devastator. And then we get, interestingly, because in the dark side deck we actually get mission cards. We don't get any in the light side one. We do get a copy of Insignificant Power, which is really good actually. Just if you got nothing else to spend on, make sure your opponent doesn't have any force, or you know, certainly early game this can be really nasty. We also have Into Hiding, which is not too bad. Tapping one of your opponent's Jedi, and obviously if again you play this against the light side starter, then that's gonna be Obi-Wan or Luke. And our second rare, Capture the Falcon, really cool card. Again, just pick one of your opponent's space units and tap it. So we get a lot of tap abilities as well on top of all the madness that some of the units can do. We do have a few battle cards as well. We only get 2 dark side ones though. We get Vader's Grip, which of course for 2 force you can choose an untapped unit and just tap it, so we still have that tapping theme going on there. And we have a Stormtrooper Charge, which is really cool because we do have a lot of Stormtroopers, and you know, for how much is it, 3 force, each of your Stormtroopers, regardless of area, they get +1 dice roll until the end of turn. So this could be actually a, well, it could be a finisher technically. I mean, it's unlikely, but it is possible. We do get also 2 copies of Precise Blast. Pay 2 force. One of your ground units gets +4 dice for this attack. Pretty cool. And we do get 2 copies of Stay Sharp as well, which is for 2 force. One of your units gets +1 power and critical hit 1 for the attack. Again, it's pretty cool because, you know, anytime it just says a unit, you can play this for any of the 3 areas, so very flexible card, very cool. And then last but not least, we get 2 copies of Air Cover. One of your ground units gets +3 power for this attack. Play only if you have more units in the space arena than your opponent. And to be fair, with kind of like that space supremacy that this deck can present, you're not really gonna have a problem getting off Air Cover. And that's, again, that's +3 power, which is pretty cool. So this is it for the Dark Side, A New Hope starter deck for Star Wars TCG. Tune in next time, guys. Bastian signing out. Peace.